With the Belt and Road Initiative on the agenda, China's President Xi Jinping has arrived in Myanmar for a two-day visit. Xi Jinping plans to ink several infrastructure deals on his first foreign trip of the year 2020. And this visit comes on the occasion of the 70th anniversary of the establishment of diplomatic ties between China and Myanmar. On Xi Jinping's agenda is expanding the Belt and Road Initiative to neighboring Myanmar. This will involve the revival of stalled multi-billion-dollar projects. However, special focus will be on the China-Myanmar Economic Corridor. The corridor, which is yet to materialize, will connect China with the Indian Ocean. Beijing will also seek to increase investments in Myanmar. However, Chinese projects have sparked fears of environmental damage and displacement. Xi Jinping is likely to discuss the deep-sea port project in the Rakhine state of Myanmar, which was scaled down over fears of a Chinese debt trap. Similarly, a China-backed dam project was suspended as it would have led to the displacement of tens of thousands of villages. Myanmar, which is facing international condemnation over accusations of Rohingya genocide, is increasingly becoming dependent on China. Remember, China had backed Myanmar in the United Nations over the persecution of Rohingya minority. This is the first visit by a Chinese president to Myanmar in nearly 20 years. In a bid to bolster strategic ties, Xi Jinping will be meeting with Myanmar's army chief Min Aung Hlaing. He will also call upon the country's state councillor Aung San Suu Kyi. Establishing a strong presence in Myanmar will allow China a backdoor entry into the Indian Ocean. The dragon's growing influence has several implications for India, which also borders Myanmar. Now, Myanmar is part of India's Act East policy. The country is also a member of the BIMSTEC, or the Bay of Bengal Initiative for Multi-Sectoral Technical and Economic Cooperation. BIMSTEC comprises of Bangladesh, Bhutan, India, Myanmar, Nepal, Sri Lanka and Thailand. China is planning to build ports in Myanmar which share a maritime boundary with India. China's infrastructural projects can clash with India's interests in the region. New Delhi has invested heavily in connectivity projects in Myanmar. Now, India, Myanmar and Thailand are building a trilateral highway which will connect India to the ASEAN. India is also building a road, river, port, cargo transport project which aims to link the city of Kolkata in the east of India to Sitwe in Myanmar and then from Myanmar's Kaladan River to India's northeast. Myanmar is seen as a crucial partner in the fight to end insurgency in India's northeast. Our correspondent Patrick Falk gets us more in this report.
Well, this is a relationship which has clear mutual benefits. Myanmar plays a key role in China's Belt and Road Initiative. Specifically, it wants to connect itself to the Indian Ocean via the China-Myanmar Economic Corridor. Right now, 80% of China's oil is imported via the Straits of Malacca, and that is a risk. It's a risk because of the territorial disputes in the South China Sea, which means that it is vulnerable to potential blockades, to potential unrest, and that is what much of these investments, these port and rail investments in Rakhine State are all about. It is about trying to deliver oil from the Indian Ocean directly through Myanmar to Yunnan province in China's south. And to give you a sense of just how much emphasis President Xi is putting on this visit, this is his first overseas trip of the year. So that speaks volumes. If you remember, in 2017, the first trip of the year that President Xi made was to Davos to defend globalization against the fierce criticism that it was getting from Donald Trump. And the year before, in 2016, the first trip of the year that he made was to Iran just after sanctions had been lifted against the country. So this is a trip that makes a real statement about China's strategic intentions. And for Myanmar, the benefits are really quite clear. It needs the investment from China at a time when much of the rest of the world has shunned it. And remember, China could potentially block any UN sanctions against Myanmar over its treatment of the Rohingya and alleged genocide. So for Myanmar, on an international stage, this is a critical relationship.